So Belinda, can you tell me a bit about this year's theme at REAP?
So I'm so excited about this year's REAP theme. So last year we talked, didn't we, about one agriculture, this whole idea of bringing together soil health, animal health, plant health and human health, and how innovation enables us to integrate all of that. So we're building on that theme this year by looking at the different layers that happen within a farm ecosystem. So for example, in the soil, you've got all those soil microbes and little microscopic animals all contributing to soil structure. On the surface of leaves, for example, you've got these populations. So those teeny tiny populations can actually be interacting as you move up through the layers of scale. So to the whole plant, the whole animal, the whole farm, the whole field, the catchment, the landscape, and how all of those layers interact with each other and why it's so important to understand that systems approach.
So thinking about this whole ecosystems approach to agriculture, how is that going to help us farm more productively and more sustainably?
So I think technology and innovation is completely agnostic as to whether it is being used to monitor productivity of plants or livestock, or whether it's measuring biodiversity in a field margin or indeed a soil sample. So I think what this is teaching us is that we view these things in isolation at our absolute peril, and to leverage this new thinking and new technologies we're going to be hearing about at REAP to be able to integrate and bring these all together. I think that's what we're going to learn.
So we've got a really great keynote speaker this year at REAP, so can you tell me a bit more about what he's going to be talking about and what we're going to learn from him?
So David Montgomery is actually a geologist by background, and he's based at the University of Washington in Seattle, and his big thing is around soils and understanding how soils work, but importantly how that moves through the layers to impact on plant and animal and human life. And he's written a book about how the decline of topsoil could actually be linked to the decline of human civilization as we know it. So he's got lots of data about the Romans and how the collapse of the Roman Empire was due to their overdependence and failure to look after their soils. So we're really excited that taking a geology approach is going to help the science and the farming and the policy really understand how all these things are all interlinked. So it's going to be cool.
So we've talked quite a lot about how technology can enable this wider vision. How are we going to hear about technology at the REAP conference?
So I think science has traditionally taken quite a reductionist approach to understanding how things work, how crop health or animal science works. You look at one system or one gene or one pathway in isolation. And I think what we're understanding now is that you need to actually be able to look at all those things as a system, and you need to look at a system in the soil and how that impacts on a system in a whole plant, a whole animal, a whole field. So the technology will enable us to move up and down between those layers so we can see how they interact and how they're interdependent with each other.
So obviously we have a lot of conversations about how to connect farmers with wider researchers and technology companies. How are we going to help facilitate those conversations at REAP this year?
So obviously we've got quite a track record now of having connected farmers with technology developers, and at REAP we've got a farmer tech showcase where we're going to be actually revisiting some of the technologies that we featured in previous startup showcases, and they're bringing with them a farmer partner. So we're going to hear from two sides, both the farmer end user who has adopted the technology and the technology developer, to hear how they've been benefiting from this mutually beneficial co-development relationship. So we're hoping from that we'll learn some tips about how technology developers can present their technologies to farmers in an attractive way, and how farmers can really get the best out of working with these technology developers with these really exciting new innovations. Obviously it's been quite a journey this year thinking how to put on a conference of the calibre and standard that we set ourselves for REAP, and I know everybody has worked really hard making the online platform engaging and interactive. So I'm really excited to see how this new format is going to work. We're very optimistic, we're very excited, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody joining us on the 10th of November.